let's get started. I like that song because it has a break in the center as well, like almost exactly halfway through, it kind of has that break. So depending on where I'm at, I can stop it halfway. It should, Kerbal should be showing up on screen now. Yeah. Get started. All right. So yesterday we started working on the Duna lander, this thing. And I've come to realize that this thing is way too heavy and has way too much delta V. Like this thing can land on the surface of Duna without parachutes and then take off and still have like 1800 delta V. So we started working on an upgraded version that's a little bit lighter and it's looking a lot better. Also, we have a command module. So my idea for this is we'll detach the lander and leave this in orbit and then redock with this, transfer the Kerbals, deorbit this, and then come back to Kerbin. Right? That's going to be the easiest way to do that. Now, we need parachutes on that. This already has the dock. It's held on by struts, which should be pretty stable. Now, I was wondering about the fairing. So the payload can be like this, right? Now, let's wait on that for a second. Let's do a triple check of all the first off, we should test this thing, right? We need to create like a checklist, really. Because once you get to Duna, you can't just be like, oh, I forgot that thing. Like, oh, well, rip. Another RCS block on this. For better maneuverability. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as test 1, right? Save. So now we have, yeah, this one can be removed because, yeah. We have this one, we have test 1. So what we're going to do here is get rid of that, and then we're going to just try and launch this. Why does it say it has 4 parachutes? Where did I put the parachutes? Oh, on top of here. I don't think we really need parachutes. I mean, you can use parachutes before you land on Duna for extra to slow down for free. We'll keep them. It's not gonna hurt. Well, like, I don't like the idea of leaving parachutes on Duna's surface, though. Let's see how this thing works. Let's test the ladders. Because ladders can sometimes, yeah, this one's clipping into the ground. That's a little bit worrisome. If they clip into the ground, Yeah, so the ladder has to be moved up. All right, that's good. I don't know, do we even have enough thrust to weight? No, we don't. With these 4 engines, we don't have enough thrust to weight. It's not actually going to take off. I don't know what thrust to weight we need in order to get providing 16. The Terrier provides 60. Yeah, we're gonna need the thuds. We are gonna need the thuds. I'm wondering, do we do something like this? This. We want the lowest center of gravity possible. That way we won't topple over when we land. And this. All right, what's our thrust to weight? That's not correct. There we go. 1.1. That should be good to get us onto the surface. Especially with the parachutes, we can even test this with the cheat mode. I mean, cheat mode. It's yeah. This is all we need. Yeah, we're good. We got 2400. This is all we need. Oh, we need science juniors on here too. See, a little bit of a bounce, but it's a pretty stable design. And that maneuver took us about, what, 30% of our fuel? That, I believe, will absolutely get us into... It'll get us to be able to land with the assisted parachutes. And then we'll be able to take off as well. So this is gonna work. Right? And now what I'm gonna do is save this, open this Lander Mark 1. I'm going to break it off here, remove this whole thing, save this as test 2. Oh, do I actually need a... That's kind of annoying. I want to merge this one, test 1, and merge with... Wait. No. Click test 2, merge. What? Hmm. Why is it just to this thing? What? Okay, let's try again. Let's try again. Mark 1. You know what? I'm just gonna do this. Take test 1 and merge that. So we have our new lander. Break it off from right here. Remove this. See, it messes up when you do that. Here's the thing. I don't know how to make. How do I make this the top of this? Like, I don't understand how to do that. Like, there's this weird thing where you have a head, right? Like, I have to I wish this was a little bit smoother. Transfer all that to the main lander cam, right? There's probably a better way to do that. Okay. So now we can save this as the Duna lander Mark 1. All right, we were working on the fairing before we stopped. Before we started to test this. Can this move? Oh, okay. I need to get that mod that makes it easier to build. It's gonna clip a little bit. Oh, that's rough. Do I care? Left mouse button. Oh, you can't actually place it because it's clipping. Hmm. Yeah, it stops you from placing it. Yeah, and the thing is, these engines, they weigh 1 ton. So I don't want to have to, I don't want to place them. Oh, also, when we replaced this, it didn't. Yeah. So we can't actually put fairing on this. Do we care? Kind of rough. But it should work. This lander will land on. We also don't have any RCS on this. This lander will absolutely be able to land on Duna. We want this to feed in from that. The problem is these engines get in the way of the fairing. But we need these engines. Yeah. I think we test launch this now. I'm really debating whether we need this giant fuel tank. I don't know. I think we're just going to try and make it work at this point and just see how it works. I think we're just going to try and make it work. Also, I didn't set up the RCS properly. Yeah, I didn't set the RCS properly. I'm not confident in this design, but I think it will hold together well enough. I think it will hold together well enough. We need our RCS to all be in alignment. All right. Let's go through the staging. All of this fires off. The outer ones break off. These break off. These break off. And then we're coasting. We don't want the... Yeah, these are already limited. I already limited these to 60. We don't want these to break off before these because the solid boosters are effective, but you can't change their thrust. All right, let's launch and see how stable this thing is. Our thrust to weight ratio is, yeah, perfect. Now we just don't want the solid fuel to get below the liquid fuel. I think that we need to add some, because these are really heavy rockets. I think we're going to need to add some ejection boosters. Yeah, those liquid fuel are burning a little bit too fast. Do that. Upcoming ejection, no movement. Just eject. Full throttle. Break those off. Full throttle. Break those off. And we're in the clear. I don't think anything got damaged or blew up. I think those are just the let's check our apoapsis. We're at 64. These need to be cranked. Oh shit. Okay, there we go. You'd think those would be in the same group. There's a way to make control groups that I need to explore. Our apoapsis is very fair. So we need to flatten out. Yeah, Bill is a scientist, right? No. Oh, shit. Well, we're gonna revert and we're gonna fix that. I just want to make sure that this can get into orbit safely and with plenty of energy to spare. Why is it angling up? I don't want it to do that anymore. All right, we're full burning trying to get into orbit. Once we get into orbit, I want to see just how much energy we have. And depending on how much energy we have, I will make some decisions. Yeah, those will re-enter orbit. I should have started burning sooner. Got plenty of fuel, but not enough thrust. If we get below 70, if we get below 71,000, we are touching atmosphere, losing energy, and we have failed effectively if we get below 70. But right now we're okay. Right now we're still in the vacuum. We're not losing energy to atmosphere. We're okay. I'm sure I could calculate all of this, but I mean, I have calculated all of it. I know how much it takes to get out of Kerbin's orbit. It's like 4,000. It doesn't take much to get to, there we go. We have our periapsis. It doesn't actually take much to get to Duna. Yeah, we should. No, we can't wait. We need our periapsis to be above, unfortunately. Now at our apoapsis, I just want to do this exit maneuver. Well, let's see. So I want to get better at doing this and not leaving stuff in orbit. So let's do this. Get our apoapsis a little bit farther out. No, you know what? We have the energy. We have 5,000 meters per second. But that also is including the lander. I just want to get this down. Yeah. Let's get that way down. And then here, we're going to deorbit burn and then break off. We want our periapsis to be below 30. There we go. Deorbit burn and break off. And we'll be within like 50 meters per second. I just want to test this maneuver. And I want to see this thing disappear. We need SAS retrograde. Does not have to be perfect. We just need periapsis below, I'd say, 20,000, and then we're good. Now we can detach, burn a tiny bit, away from this booster back here. It's hard to see in the dark, but we just broke off from that booster. That's gonna fall into Kerbin. I'm gonna go radial out to, so we don't run into this. And then I'm gonna go prograde. See, if we just went straight prograde, there would have been a chance that we would have turned back into it. And now we're going to get our periapsis. We're going to fly right by this thing. Gonna fall into Kerbin. Goodbye. And now we're in a stable orbit. We have 1628 on this. Oh, these engines need to be alongside that, yeah. Because these are, yeah. Yeah, this has 3149. That's plenty. Plus the parachutes if we need it for extra drag. Now, this 1628, we should be able to get to, we really should have waited to launch. I'm going to redo this. But see, yeah, this is very not in a good position. But let's see what we can do. Here's a slingshot. There we go. So we slingshot out this way. I don't know if this is going to actually work or if the game is going to... Because this kind of thing typically, in my experience, has not really worked out the way I've wanted it to. This kind of maneuver. But this is what I want, right? I want to slingshot the moon. This is going to be prograde. I just want to try this maneuver and then I'm going to restart because we need a scientist instead of an engineer. Yeah. All right, let's see how this maneuver goes. Let's actually get a little closer. I don't feel like burning for typically half the burn time on one side, half the burn time on the other side. Yeah, I don't feel like doing a slow burn over 3 minutes. We're gonna be a little bit late on it now, but it's okay. Yeah, as for the energy that this is consuming, the mainsail... See, people have even another stage. There we go. See, this is like, see how it's like bugging out? I've tried to do this in the past, and the computer that calculates these trajectories just does not seem to be able to handle. We're gonna have to redirect our trajectory. We're coming in, oh, let's, if we start burning, I should have flattened out with the mun before I did this. That'll make it just a little bit better. That's a tiny, tiny correction. 5.9 meter per second burn. All right, let's speed up to it. Practicing these maneuvers is one of like the ultimate end games. Now that we're doing fine maneuvering, we can put this down to like 20. So we don't mess up our burns too much. And that should flatten our... There we go. That's flat enough. All right. Now we are just gonna slingshot the moon. As the trajectory calculator says, that's what's gonna happen. And once we're at our periapsis, we can manipulate our apoapsis, because as far as I can tell, we're not in a good orbit to reach Duna. The Duna needs to be like over here for it to be optimal. Yeah, it's difficult to get to Duna if it's not in the correct position. Oh, wait, what? So we're gonna orbit around Kerbin one more time? Okay. I took an extra day? That makes sense. Okay, what just happened? Are we gonna slingshot the moon or not? There we go. Yeah, we are. See, it like fakes you out a little bit. Fakes you out a little bit. See, we're zoom, and now we're getting pulled, and boom. Now we have this giant apoapsis by using the Mun's gravitational rotational energy. Now what we can do is we take that and we do this. They say it should only take the direction we burn in is very relevant. You know, we set as target, we're going to be on the other side. See, it's basically on the other side of the yeah. But this is how you do it, right? And this is why, say, like, Duna's over here, and we're rotating counterclockwise. Depending on how you want to look at it. But we'd ideally want to do something like this, where oh wow, that's taking a lot of energy. See, I'm still learning how to see, this is all it should take. It should only take like 1200 meters per second to transfer. Yeah. But you know, you see the target's going to be right here and we're going to be right here. So yeah, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. As for this build, as for this this rocket, we're in a weird position again because we have the energy just barely, right? And this is why I think we need even another stage. And I think, unfortunately, I think we need to redesign the lander. Like, we can't have this giant thing underneath it, right? This giant fuel tank. Like, we're taking this whole fuel tank up. This thing is 3149 meters per second, right? We're gonna run out of fuel in this thing before we're able to reach Duna, right? Because as far as I can tell, on the delta V chart, Duna takes after you get out of Kerbin and into low Kerbin orbit, 3400, it takes another 930 plus 130, so that's 1060. And yeah, 1000, at least 1100, I'd say, to get into Duna orbit. And then another 250, or no, to intercept Duna. And then another 250 to enter Duna's orbit. Yeah. And these are rough estimates. I always overestimate with that. So realistically, we need like 1200 at this stage to be able to get to Duna. Yeah, let's mess around. I just want to try one more thing before we leave this. Here, let's do this. I just want to see if I can get a intersect with Duna. Oh, oops, yeah. Accidentally went around again. Wait, why is this facing... Why is this facing radial in? That's just so strange to me. Yeah, we messed up. Oh, we're already... Yeah, okay. So we need to reach our escape. Oh, we just missed... Well, min miss was below us. Or no, above us. We didn't just miss min miss. Which way are we going? Aren't we going this way? So why... Oh, here we go. Okay. I want to set a maneuver. See, we exited our orbit. Aha, we got it. It cost us 1,400. And we're gonna have to wait a year for the burn. But this is why you need to wait for Duna. Say we're here, we need Duna to be right here. See how far away Duna is right now? Just raw distance. Just raw distance. But let's do this burn for the sake of getting it done. But yes, ideally you would not be in... I'm wondering... Wait, hold on. Let me check something. I know we can do it like that. Can we do it like this, though? No, you really can't. You still need it to line up. Yeah, see, like that. Oh, we got it down to 1257. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious at this point to me that you kind of need to time the window. Unless you want to use more energy. Because right now we're on the opposite side of the sun from Duna. So that's that. Alright, we're gonna need to crank this thing. We're also not gonna have enough energy, and we're going to leave this thruster in solar orbit. We can wait even longer. The burn time went down quite a bit because I turned the engine up. Yeah, I just want to practice capturing, entering Duna's sphere of influence, whilst not consuming an insane amount of energy to do so. And this seems like a reasonable burn. In order to achieve that. But yeah, now we're using our lander's thrust, so that's not ideal. Here's our apoapsis. We really missed the burn, but there we go. All right. We will intercept in 280 days. Now, if we focus view this, we can actually see where we're at. I think I'm gonna add a maneuver at the descending node. I'm gonna focus view this. I'm gonna click next maneuver, and I'm going to very, very fine tune our trajectory. Perfect. That's 12 meters per second. See, once you're in that realm, you're good. Once you make that burn to reach out to touch it, you're good. We still have 2,500 meters per second of delta V. It's only going to take us 300, 400, 500 tops to be able to maneuver into a stable orbit and potentially rendezvous. That's all it's going to take. Turn RCS off so we don't accidentally burn out of the this is going to be a very, very fine burn, and unfortunately we have like 10 engines. Oh, also, yeah, the way I designed this, this is why we're doing this. This is why we're doing this. Okay. Wait, can I? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. We just fucked up. Yeah, Alt and right click allows you to open multiple things. We just fucked our burn up though. Yeah, if we focus. Oh my god, man! I wish I could get. See, I've seen the UI for Kerbal 2, and I'm just like, man. It looks beautiful. Truly looks beautiful. Because they have it so like the things aren't all stacked on top of each other. They have like little arrows that touch the trajectory. This has been a good test. I'm trying to get a view of Duna. What? Okay, focus view. There we go. All right. Hold on. I want to add a maneuver here before we get here. Okay. That's what I wanted to achieve. All right, we do this in 5 days. This is basically me practicing my Duna entry. Very far from perfect. But we need to make sure this burn is at least decent. All right. That wasn't decent. That was perfect. And this final burn is going to take 500 to get into stable orbit. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm thinking we need to... Let me Let me edit this just a little bit more. Do that. We want this orbit to be above 50. Yeah, we don't want to, yeah. We just burn here very, very slightly. Could probably do it right now, but we will be patient. Okay, that's all we needed to do. Let's warp to it. Here we go. And then once we do this, I think we'll revert. I just want to see how much energy we have once we finally enter. Oh, I think we're orbiting the wrong way. The Duna station's orbiting. Well, let's see before we finish our orbit. Yeah, see how it's orbiting the other direction? We came in on the wrong side of Duna, and we could have easily changed that. We need to remember it's spinning in the same direction as the moon. But we can fix that just by doing this. Which is going to take, we're at 2,000 meters per second. Let's see how much energy it takes. See, that little mistake is costing us about 600 meters per second. But now that we know we can do that and still have over 1,000 meters per second remaining on the lander, like we're good. As for, and that mission took about 2 years, by the way, because we had to wait basically 9 months before we could even start our burn to Duna to be most efficient. So the problem with this design was we ran out of energy on this thing before we even made it to Duna. What we need is for this whole thing right here, from this down to this engine, we need this to be in orbit around Duna. But the problem is the lander's very heavy. And I think we need to redesign the entire lander, unfortunately. It's difficult. The game is difficult. We can successfully, with this setup, make it to Duna, get into Duna's orbit, and still have over like 1,500 meters per second remaining, which means we can rendezvous with the station. But it's tough, right? It's tough. This is 0.8 versus 1.3. I think we need to redesign this whole thing. And we need to use this thing instead. And we need to make it as light as possible because this thing should have enough energy. This thing should have enough energy, but just can't do it, man. With that setup. It's just too heavy. Where's the Mark Zero fuel tank? Here. Because this holds 50, this holds... Yeah. I don't fully understand what the oxidizer... I know that there's... Why do some engines have oxidizer and others don't? Like, I don't understand this. This holds 30. So, even just 2 of these... Yeah, we just need this to be lighter. That's all we need. Are these all going to be connected? Yeah, we need something like this. We just can't carry that giant fuel tank up. It's just not efficient or effective at all for what we're trying to do. For that lander, that heavy lander, yeah, we're gonna call that Duna small lander, and I'm gonna go back to this and call this Duna heavy lander. Wait, what? Where did it go? Load. Duna. Oh, my brain. Duna heavy lander. Save. Open. Delete this. There. So this thing will get to Duna. It's just, it's going to consume a little bit of the lander's fuel, right? Yeah. Can we just put a Science Junior on top of it? What's the... It's still okay. This is looking a little better. Wonder, can we fit one more underneath this? Yeah, we can. Yeah, I was trying to go for the big one, but it just does not work. Also, we're actually gonna need these to be I'm gonna put 8 of them on there. No, not really. Less effective. I think 4 is all we really need. I just wanted enough room to do this. That's high enough, right? That's like Kerbal head height. You can jump up to that. That's fine. Let's put the docking port on top of that. Let's get the Science Junior. Weird, why is it not letting me? Weird, yeah, like puts these inside of the wall of it. As for RCS, we're probably going to want a little bit more than that. Because this thing is so small, we can even use RCS to, yeah. And that's making me think we should put the big RCS on there. Looks a little ridiculous, but it'll give us, yeah, that extra maneuverability. I don't think we need 6 of these. So the deal with this thing is only 1 Kerbal can fit in it. Crew capacity 1. So it's making me wonder, do we send down a scientist? And if so, do we need we may want stability assist. How heavy is this? 0.1 ton. That's not bad. Where do we put it though? Could put it on top of here and then use a docking port junior on top of that. So that way, if we send a scientist down, they can do research in the upper atmosphere and on the surface, and then bring all that back with them, right? I want to launch this thing and see how it does. Also, I want to launch it with the crew as a scientist. Bob Kerman is our scientist. It'll barely be able to get off the ground. I just want to see how stable it is. I think we're gonna need a stronger engine. Yeah, but see this, yeah. I'm wondering, is there, how much does this give? 20, these are 16. How much do these weigh? 0.08, 0.13. This will give it the thrust it needs. These do have gimbals. Let me try this out. I've never used these Twitch engines before, so it'll be interesting to see how they function. And yes, we have our scientist. I want to see its maneuverability. It's not bad. It's honestly not bad. We messed up the landing, obviously. We had a little bit too much horizontal, and then we started to tip. But feels pretty good. Can we fit all of these on here? Yeah, 1.38. Yeah. You know, I think this is shaping up to be pretty solid. We have the Science Junior. We have all of our science modules. Except for the Mobile Processing Lab, which we already have in orbit, mind you. Now, we need a Communitron. See, I'm confused as to... Oh, we need electricity as well. Act volume. I don't know. I'm just going to put this thing on there. A little heavier. But... it feels worth it. That way it can extend like that. Perfect. Beautiful. All right. Yeah, and that doesn't get in the way of the docking port either. We can bring it down a little bit more. Yeah. We need electrical. We can honestly... That has 200 charge in it. I'm wondering if putting one of these on top would be worthwhile. It makes it a little bit top heavy though, I think. No, most of the mass is still just above the engines and below the cockpit. So this thing won't really tip. We need more battery capacity. You know what? Let's not do that. And let's put... oh, those are too big. These batteries barely weigh anything. So, I mean, put it down there. Nice. Save. Let's just triple check that this can... yeah, that's fine. As for the photovoltaic cells, we're only really gonna need 2, right? Just in case we want to transmit data, we have an antenna and solar panels. Yeah. This is looking a lot more reasonable in terms of mass. 10 tons. What's show severity? Design checklist, huh? It has good maneuverability, decent amount of thrust. It's got all of the science modules that we can possibly put on it. We're gonna have a scientist in here. We have the stability assist, which is all we really need. Like, I should be able to land this thing. Now we can technically test it out in orbit. So let's test it out. I know it's cheaty, it's like cheaty, but I've been playing this game for maybe like a week or two now, getting back into it. I'm planning on eventually starting an Iron Man run where I really have to worry about like, oh, is this design gonna explode immediately? All right, so we're in Duna orbit at 60,000 meters, right? Our goal is to deorbit. That's not safe. Let's land somewhere around here. Perfect. So we've done our entry burn. We'll consider this a simulation landing. How much RCS have we used at this point? Not much. Gotta be careful about keeping SAS on. It's T, so I can easily turn it off before I do a maneuver and then turn it back on. Right, say I wanted to go prograde. I can just do this, let it roll, and then press T, and then stabilize it, right? But if I want to do a maneuver, I should press T, do the maneuver, let it roll so I'm not using RCS the entire time, slow it down, and then press T. Right? That uses much less monopropellant. All right. So we are entering Duna's atmosphere. I prefer not landing in that crater here because it's hilly. It's hard to see, but there's a slope here and here that we don't want to land on because it's basically, when you're on the surface, it just looks like an endless slope. Now we don't need RCS on. I'm going to start evening out our horizontal velocity. All right, we've consumed about half of our fuel at this point. Now, our idea for this is that it will be able to get back into orbit. All of these are being drained, which is good to see. Yeah, all of them are being drained equally. Let's get us to slow down. Let's get that retrograde right on. Yeah, right like that. And then we're going to burn on the retrograde. Now we can turn RCS on so we stabilize. Yeah, our fuel, it's going to be interesting to see whether we can get back into orbit or not. It's going to keep slow burning as we fall. Once we're within 100 meters, we're going to drop that down below 10. Shadow makes it so much easier to see what we're doing. And there we go. Definitely leaning, but as you can see, there's like no real flat part of Duna. It's kind of part of the challenge. Yeah, now that we're here, let's EVA, test it out, and then we will, yeah, this thing is pretty stable. And they can, yeah, they should be able to reach that. They kind of fall, but we can get out, do science stuff. Just grab the ladder. And then board. And now we're actually headed in the direction we need to go. So now we just launch. We'll see how far we can get. We need to be able to get into orbit and then do a minor rendezvous or maneuver. I don't know if we have enough. Yeah, so now I don't think we have enough. Also, our apoapsis is declining because, yeah, the atmosphere. $341, that's like just not enough. So we're gonna need to figure something out. That was a pretty efficient landing too. I think we're gonna need parachutes to help with the descent, so I don't have to burn so much to slow down. We'll put like 2 drogue chutes on it. See how that works. All right, now we're gonna burn. And I'm gonna use my RCS to help. It's not actually going to help much. RCS is like nothing. I don't know if we need all this mono propellant. And we're dry. Yeah, how much mono propellant did we use? None. Really, like, none. If we're careful with our mono propellant, we don't need to bring these. These should have been fuel tanks. These should have been fuel tanks. Yeah. It was close. It was close. It was definitely a good test. I think we fully tested this thing and showed that we don't need these. I don't think... How much does this weigh? 0.5? That gives us even more thrust. Oh, why do we have so many batteries? So each one of these holds 24.3. Yeah. I'm really wondering if these are worth it. They seem like it. 0.3. I don't know if we need so many though. Right? We really don't need the solar panels, do we? These are so light. 0.02. Yeah. We'll hold on to them. Also, the batteries are very light. I don't think we need these big RCS. We need these small ones, right? Like these, we had such strong RCS response, it's not gonna be necessary. And then we're gonna add radial mount and drogue chute. I'm 0.75, but these are much more efficient. These are like 0.025 heavier mass, but they have fully deployed effective diameter 41 versus 7. So these, the MK2R, are much more efficient. The only problem is they're much larger. Now, maybe we put these... That works, right? We really don't need to be able to transmit data. Like, we don't need the antenna, we don't need the solar. Is there anything we need batteries for? Yeah, we do need the solar. We do need the solar, but we only need like 2. Yeah. These are 005. These are, yeah. They're about equal. Doesn't matter. We'll just put 4 of these on there. All of them are pretty much equal. All right. I think this is going to do a better job of descending more efficiently. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to use the parachutes. You know, just by design, I mean, it makes more sense to have these down here and the parachutes up here. It just looks kind of stupid having the parachutes up here. They're so much more efficient than these that I need to use them. Yeah, they're so much more efficient. That's over 5 times the effective diameter fully deployed. But they only weigh 25% more. So you're getting a 500% increase for only 25% more mass. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. We'll add some nice flair to this. These lights weigh what? Yeah, nothing. These weigh a little bit, but insignificant compared to one of these fuel tanks. Yeah. All right, I think we're gonna give it one more test, and then we're gonna accept the nature of this. So save, launch. This is looking a lot more lean. Lean is the term that I'm looking for. It's cleaner. The weight distribution is lower. It's better. And it's leaner. It just looks like it's designed properly. Just looks like it's designed properly. You don't even need to use RCS. RCS is only necessary. We want to burn now. Oh shit, we need to be careful. We almost activated the parachutes too soon. It wouldn't have mattered so much. God, why is that so loud? We want a really shallow, yeah, we don't want to like pull this too far in, because what we're going to do is we're going to coast into the atmosphere, and when we're about, say, 40,000, we're going to use the parachutes. Actually, no, even later, I think. But yeah, this is looking a lot leaner. Turn on all the lights. All right, now we can activate our thrusters. to slow down enough to do that. Now, why have they not? Oh, altitude. We don't want to burn anymore, right? Like, we want these to open up at a high altitude with a minimum pressure, very low minimum pressure, right? We can't make this any higher. Okay, we don't want to go above. There we go. Very nice. Keeping us relatively stable. See, we had to use much less energy. We still have 2,000 meters per second. That's going to be enough to get us back into orbit. We're using the atmosphere to our advantage, right? In this game, you need to use everything you can to your advantage. All right, now that we're coming in, we still got to do a slight burn, right? So that we don't come in above 10 meters per second. Ooh, this is going to be a very sloped landing. Oh, look at this slope. Yeah, see, that's this right here is the importance of checking. Like, we should have landed down there, right down there. But we did land, and the only reason it failed was, and we had over 2,000 meters per second of thrust, so we would have been able to take off again. We would have been able to re-enter orbit. So I'd say this lander is certified to land on Duna. I should have quick saved. We should have run through that again. It's okay. I'm wondering if putting these higher would be better. And then we can also do this. I wonder with these slight adjustments, do we... Thrust to weight. I don't think we even need these. I don't even think we need these. That's just added weight. Again, these weigh 0.13 each. No, and unfortunately, we can't just have 4 of these. Ideally, I would just have 4 of these and then get rid of all these, but we can't do that. Right? These kind of look shitty the way that they're hanging over the edge. Yeah. Really almost want these even higher, like as high as they can possibly go. And I'm starting to think we don't want the baguettes at all. We just want a stack of these things. Right? Say we can fit 4 more of these. 0.2. I feel like the baguette is really efficient though. 0.3038. 24.3. I need a calculator. I want to do a mass to liquid fuel ratio. Right? So this is mass 0.225 to liquid fuel 18. And then mass 0.3038 to liquid fuel 24.3. They're almost identical. They're actually almost identical. That was 0.125. Yeah. I mean, it's a ratio, so yeah. And because they're almost identical, I think we just do this. Please? Clipping? This thing will not tip. I'm almost thinking we could fit even more fuel in here. We could fit a baguette in there. Could absolutely fit a baguette in there. But the thing is, do we want to fit more fuel? That's the question. A baguette is basically 2.5 dumplings. That gives it more, yeah. Yeah, that's what we need. I think this is as good as I'm going to be able to get it. If I do this and then Rotate. Rotate and then move. Clipping? Cheese? Cheese design? Clipping? All right. I think one more test and then we're almost solid. And these two seem to bring it down to about 24. Maybe we put 4 of these on here. The only problem with this design is like it's not reusable, right? It makes it so you can land one time. Also, we can't have the lights there, actually. All right, let's give it a test. I've been designing this thing for the past 2 hours. I don't care. This is part of the game. Like, I could just cheese a design, copy somebody else's design. Be like, oh, this is part of the game that I actually enjoy. I enjoy designing stuff that works. I'm not good at it, but I enjoy it. Yeah, this is gonna be loud. I don't know why that's so fucking loud. The audio in Kerbal 2 is supposedly much better though. I'm probably gonna get Kerbal 2. Even if it's janky and buggy, like, I'm probably still gonna get it. Not saying it's gonna be janky and buggy, but there are some very questionable signs for Kerbal Space Program 2. Like, if you look at their roadmap, some of the things on the roadmap are very core things that they promised in the game on release. No, they didn't promise on release, but core things in the game that you think would be in the game on release, right? Should we just land in the crater? It seems almost flatter than this area. what we want to do is not fall too fast because we want the, yeah. There's a mod that shows you your landing zone and it shows you whether it's flat or not, but it seems like it makes the game a lot easier. So like this is very rigid right here. Like there's a clear deep slope right here. Right? We've just got to be careful. That's all. Yeah, once we get below 10,000, I'll start burning. Why are these red? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I set them to 2,500. I don't know why we're still slowing down. Oh, he lost consciousness. Did he die though? I don't think he died. We need to get them to open at 5,000 meters. So we avoid that problem. Okay, so what's it looking like below us? This is looking like a giant slope, and it's looking like we may want to go down by that rock. So I think I'm gonna manually change my angle. I want to see how much we can maneuver by doing this. I don't know. It is really seeming like we want to go down there, though. I think this is relatively flat. It's very difficult to tell. Our shadow is showing that it seems relatively flat. Yeah. We did it. We did it. We still have 2,600, so I don't know. These are still going to be here, these spent parachutes. I don't know if you can actually rearm them. Yeah, we still have 2,600 meters per second. So we'll be able to get back out. We need to set these to 5,000 though. Crew member has engineer. Okay. So technically you can repack the chutes. That is very good to know. Good. Made it out to the surface. Running around. Should have turned the landing lights on too. That would have been a smart thing to do. Very stable. Now, the landing gear, I kind of want to be a little bit closer. Like, the engines are just barely touching. Like, I'm talking maybe, yeah. Tiny bit. Now, we've got to try and take off. So, let's track the ladder. And take off. And we're going. We don't want to go up too fast. We have the thrust to weight ratio to really crank it. We don't want to do that because we're going to be dragged by the atmosphere. So we want to go up very slowly so we don't run too fast through the atmosphere. That's why I'm not burning faster than this. And this thing feels stable. It looks good. It looks like it was designed with a lot of thought put into it, instead of just like slamming a giant fuel tank to a giant engine and hoping it works. Check our Apple apps. Once that gets to 50K, then we'll stop burning. I'm even gonna turn that down a little bit more. And our Apple apps is way ahead of us, so we're doing fine. Once we get into the vacuum, we can crank the thrust. But yeah, this is the thing we're gonna use to land. This thing is beautiful. It's very compact, tight. I would like to have an engineer on board, but it's okay. As long as we have an engineer in orbit, we can repack it. We need to still burn a tiny bit because our apoapsis is decreasing because we're still going through the atmosphere. This thing is a beauty. I like this thing. It's a beauty. Now, is it the most efficient? No, it's not. What we need are air brakes. I need to get that aerodynamic. That's one of the things I'm going to get next. Now here comes the billion-dollar question. Do we have enough thrust to round our orbit? We're going to wait until we're very much right at our apoapsis, and then we're going to crank it. And we did it. 51 is all you need. We still have 1,000 meters per second. Boom. Easy. All right. This thing is, gotta say, it's beautiful. But we gotta change this. We gotta make this a little bit lower, right? We don't want the engines, these compress a little bit on landing so that the landing, so you don't tip. You don't want the engines to slap the ground. You really don't. They're very delicate. Also, I noticed that this is sticking out. So let's have it not stick through that. Save. And we're set. Now we just need to start designing a system to... Yeah, and this thing had over 1,000 meters per second remaining. So any type of fuckery that happens on the surface will still have plenty of wiggle room. All right, so you can use a docking port as a... This has a... Yeah, this is one thing that I was kind of thinking about. It's okay. Look. If it has a docking junior, it's fine. We're going to have a big docking port on the bottom with a Mark III command pod. And then we're going to put struts that lead from here to there. Perfect. Now, do we want a fairing on top of this whole thing? That's my question. Probably. We need this to have the capability of re-entering. So this needs to have a heat shield and a stack separator. Does this kind of has a heat shield on it though, right? No, I think the Mark I command pod has that though. Yeah. That gets a heat shield, docking port. You know what? I'm gonna put a docking junior right here. Just for good luck. Because I made the mistake one time of not putting a docking port on my shit, and it's scarred me. All right. I'm gonna take a short break. Now we're constructing the propulsion, the initial stages of propulsion for our lander. Hopefully we'll be able to get to Duna. We'll be able to time our launch better this time around with extra fuel. That way we can fuel up the station before we land. This command pod is going to be able to... We're going to need to put parachutes on this thing. I don't care about the windows so much. So we're just going to do that. There's nowhere else to put them. Put them slightly above the windows. How about that? All right, I'm going to take a short break. And when I get back, we will finish building out the platform to launch this lander. All right, I'm back. Now, as far as this design is concerned, why is this saying 0? There we go. I just clicked reset. I don't know why. Wait, why are there... Oh, these two parachutes go after that. Go here after that. But these two craft are going to actually split. I don't know how the game's going to handle that. I've never launched two command modules at the same time. All right, that's looking better. Try to do this. Just give it some serious thrust. This is kind of the state I want it to be in before we... How is it in a vacuum? Much better in a vacuum. Yeah. I don't want to use this until we're like in Duna's orbit effectively, which is going to be difficult because yeah. The mass of the Reliant is lower than the ISP. Interesting. Yeah, we're gonna put Reliant engines on that. You know what? Let's not do Reliant engines. Let's actually do the Terrier engines. Yeah, look at that. It's a lot more thrust. This is going to be, yeah, multiple stages. This stage is only really going to be activated after we've done, ideally after we've already entered Kerbin's orbit. So, yeah. And this is what's going to get us to Duna. And yeah. Now we need some seriously chunky lower end setup. I think if these are all connected, they should all burn out at the same time, technically. I don't know if that's correct. All I know is that I'm zoomed all the way out. that's how that's how big this thing is. We're making this thing a chunky rocket. And this thing is just going to get this into orbit, right? That's all it's going to do. You know, I'm almost thinking we got to do this. Because I'm thinking we're still not gonna have enough. What's the thrust to weight on this? 1.79. That's chunky. That is chunky. That's getting too ridiculous though. And we really do need fairing on this thing. So let's put the fairing below this. I can't actually look up anymore. That's like the top of the... Okay, yeah, we just have the rocket quite high, so... Alright. Let me just reset. And let's evaluate what we have going on. This needs to go with this. This breaks off. These break off after these fire. That should increase. Yeah, see? This whole thing is going to break off after we get, right before we get into orbit, right? Let me put these on decouplers so we have an extra stage. Yeah, and we need these chunky detachment manifolds. This might be the largest rocket I've ever built. This is a 500-ton. This is gonna explode immediately the second I launch it. It's just too big. I can't actually zoom out anymore. All right, that's touching the ground. There's a mod that lets you like WASD around, and I really need to get it. All right, we need the RCS on here shouldn't kick on until after I break open the fairing. The fairing needs to break open before. We'll do that a little bit later. But for right now, I need to get the RCS on this thing set up properly. Oh yeah, we're gonna need that. Just to make it a little bit taller. And then as for our aerodynamic profile, we're gonna need tail fins about here. Yeah. And this is looking like it should be stable. We're gonna bring Jeb, Bill, and Bob, a pilot, engineer, and scientist. And then Bob is gonna pilot the. Well, they're gonna be in the cupola module, but I mean they're not gonna be piloting really. The probe core is gonna be piloting. Technically. At least that's what I'd like to believe. I really think we have to do this. This is going to be a whole thing in itself. So we're going to need separatrons on these things. Otherwise, they're not going to detach safely. 1. Then 2. And then 1. And 2. I think that's as equal as we're going to get them. All right. And now we need to go about sorting this mess out. Why is this so low now? Well, it's because it's all out of order. That's why. Okay. So from the top, these break off These all fire. These do not fire yet. So we're going to create a thing for these just for the Separatrons for right now, because there are a lot of them. This, and this fire off. Got a good thrust to weight. We're good. Now, the way we want this to detach is in such a way that 2 of these feed into the other 2, and then the other 2 feed into the main tank. So we break off the 2 first ones almost immediately, and then we switch to the 3, and then the other 2 break off, and then we have the last thing. Yeah. So to begin, we need these to get broken up. We'll start with these 2, this side and this side. So we want this and this, right? That and that. And then we want this and this. We have these and these. Break off first. And we have the fuel tank, the external fuel duct, going from this. No, we want it only on. You have to do this weird, like you click it like that and then attach it, so it only does it on one. So that goes to that, and then this one on the opposite side does the exact same thing. That to that, right? So these feed into this, and then we want this to only be at like 80%, right? And then this is going to feed into here. Right? So again, these all fire off. Those 2 break off after feeding all of their fuel into these. And then these break off. Okay, we need the Separatrons to be tied to these events. So we need these are the 2 that break off first. So we need this Separatron and this Separatron. We want this and this to go with this. We want this to go with this. We want this and this to go with this. And that to go with that. And then these can all go with these. Okay, so we have these 2 break off. All of these Separatrons on them fire off. Then these 2 break off while the Separatrons fire off. And then we want this to fire off with this. We want this to have its own stage. We want this to go after that, right? And we'll have these break off once we're like in Duna orbit. We'll have these crash into Duna. Yeah, and we want these to be feeding all of their fuel into here. Yeah. And then the fairing opens up, right? Fairing opens up, Then, no. This does not detach yet. Then we can manually decouple this, I believe. Which decoupler is this? That's that one there. Yeah, this docking port should act as a decoupler, I believe. So once we do that manually, we're not going to activate this until the very end. These parachutes. These parachutes are the last thing to go, because that's when we're re-entering Kerbal. Yeah, and we should do these kind of the same time. We'll detach these when we're in a crash course with Duna, and do the fairing, so that they all fall into Duna. Crash into Duna. And I think we're set. I think we're actually set now. We've got our crew. We've got our build. I mean, if this thing flies, I would be surprised, because it's the heaviest thing I've probably ever made in this game. Yeah, our Delta V is at 8,200, which is beautiful. 169 on that. These break off. These break off. This breaks off. These all fire off. Yeah. I don't know why this is only 800. We're going to see what happens. Look, let's launch it. Let's see what happens. This is the largest rocket I've ever made. It may just fall over on the launch pad and blow up. All right, let's do it. That was a perfect separation. Our apoapsis is reaching 71. We're gonna go to 75 and slow down. And we're gonna start angling towards our orbital prograde. We should have plenty of energy. We'll start burning once we pass 70,000 because as it goes, you don't want to go faster through the atmosphere because gas particles. Look at our Delta V freaking out. Doesn't know what to think. All right. I love the color of these engines. They're beautiful. The purple. All right, detach. Now we probably should have... This needs to be cranked, yeah. Honestly, I'm starting to think maybe we activate these engines. Hold on. Yeah, we're not going to have enough energy to get out of orbit unless we do something else. We should have gotten our apoapsis a little bit higher. We should have a thing that, a fuel drain that goes from this into these. But as far as I can tell, we're going to dip below 70. We're not going to make it, unfortunately. We could have started burning these earlier, and that would have been helpful. We could have also gotten our periapsis higher, and that would have been helpful. But now that we're below 70, we're touching atmosphere, and unsuccessful. So I think what we're going to need is a little bit more punch. Well, what we can do, it's kind of really janky, but what we can do is take a fuel duct and put fuel from that into there. And then activate these engines to help the final orbital burn. Is that too janky? I don't think that's too janky. But I think we do need this to be 100. And we can save it. All right, let's give it another go. I almost want to rotate these down one tick, because they seem to like almost spin and run into the main engine. Yeah. All right, let's give it another launch. I think what we're gonna do is actually set these to turn on when these ones break off. Yeah. a weird design, but I think it's going to be much more efficient. I love seeing our delta V increase as we go up. It's very interesting how that... It would be nice if it properly calculated it, though. Like, this number seems almost arbitrary because of how much it changes. Yeah, that seemed to make them fly away much cleaner. Yeah, I'm going for a once we break these off, these engines are going to fire off as well. So it'll be interesting. The first time I've ever tried something like this. I don't know if it's efficient, but we'll see. See what happens. All right, we're going to give it a minute. Once we hit 70,000, we'll start burning. All right. And detach. Yeah, that's way better. We're still ascending. This thing should be burning fuel into these. Should be at 100, yep. All right, we're nailing the apoapsis right now. We're like right on our apoapsis, burning on our apoapsis and pushing it forward. It's beautiful. Yeah, now we're hitting it. Maximum burn efficiency. Yeah, over 85 seems like a much safer apoapsis. It gives you plenty of time to burn. Take a quick screenshot. Oh. Detach. And ignite. That will go back to the surface. So we haven't left any debris, and we're clean. Like that drained all its fuel into these while they were burning. Beautiful. We are at 83. Our periapsis is just about to break. Positive. There we go. And we can head directly prograde at this point. Oh, beautiful. And we are in orbit, secure. We have good amount of thrust. The only thing I'm concerned about is this number right here. These are going to break off, and then we're going to have another 3,200 for a long burn. I'm going to save it here because that was a perfect launch. And we're going to make sure that we slingshot the moon in the way that we want to slingshot the moon. Okay. Let's see. If we head that way, that's not the way we want to be going, actually. So we want to be going in this direction, right? Also, another thing we need to do before we do any of this the moon really wants to throw us the other direction. Before we do any of this, we need to set the mun as the target, and we need to even out our... Is that going to be a normal burn? No, anti-normal. SAS, anti-normal, RCS. Beautiful. Five, four, three, two, one. All right. Save. And let us begin our attempt at... So we're headed in this direction. We want to be going this direction. Yeah, that's looking a little better. If we can... There we go. That's what we're looking for. We're going to get pulled out by the moon, the mun. That's what we're looking for. We'll take all that energy with us and we'll use it to find a way to... I mean, we should have postponed our launch until we were in a good orbit with Duna, but we're just going to try. We're going to try and do it whenever. So this is going to probably be prograde. We're flat. Oh, wait, we don't want to do that. Let's go down to 1 minute and then full burn. Now I'm wondering if we can get these. These are gonna have to break off, right? Unfortunately, they're gonna run out of fuel right at the end of this burn. Now I'm wondering, can we get them to crash into the moon? If we maneuver in such a way right as we intercept the moon, we could change our orbit to run into the moon instead of bend around the moon, detach them, and then continue our journey towards Duna with plenty of fuel, right? If we manage this, we will be able to do this without leaving any debris in space, which is always a really good feeling. But we're about to run out of fuel in those. And it's going to be very efficient burning while they're empty. So we want to drop that extra mass. As quickly as possible. You know what? We can just do this right now and detach, right? Because these are gonna run into the moon right now, right? Oh no, they're not. Now they will, hypothetically. Hypothetically. So I think we detach now. And hope those run into the moon, but we need to continue our burn. The slingshot. There we go. But hypothetically, those should be headed towards right into the moon. Hypothetically. If we believe the computer's calculations. We're gonna see. We'll see what happens. Wait, what? Oh, because we have to do an orbit first. Well, we could have just dropped them into the we could have just dropped them into Kerbin at that point. It'd be very interesting to see what happens to that train of debris. Because it is a lot of debris. We should have just done it here. It would have taken more energy, but... Hey, look. They're in the moon's path, see? So the moon's gonna... I mean, is the moon running into them, or are they falling into the moon? That's the question. Let's quick save here. That's really cool. I mean, I can't really change anything about our trajectory, but... I mean, this is where I would change something about our trajectory. But as far as I can tell, we're going to be headed right towards where we want to be headed. Let's watch. Yup, they're going to go right into the moon. Boop. We nailed it. It's like we bombed the moon on our way to Duna. Boop, boop. 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 And the last two? Boop. And... oh no, it just missed it. No, the last piece just missed it. No. Oh, that's so unsatisfying. Yeah, that thing's gonna go out into... yeah. I have no idea where that's going out to. Yep, that's just in very far orbit at this point. Damn, it was so close. That was probably within 5,000 kilometers or 5,000 meters. Let's wait until we're fully... boop. All right. Yeah, that was a little bit unsatisfying. See, that's in solar orbit now. So close, man. I have no idea how would one piece have Let's see what piece it is. I want to know. I want to know. It was our main... Wait, what? Wait, this isn't Duna. This is Duna's station debris. Yeah, that's not what we left this time. Here, it's Duna's small lander Mark 1. That Duna station debris was when we brought the station over. Oh, it was just a tiny decoupler. It was just a tiny decoupler. Oh. I don't know how that avoided... I don't know how. I genuinely have no idea. Everything else hit the moon. Everything else. It didn't touch atmosphere. You know, it must have been because of how it was ejected when I got rid of the... Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Is it fine? Is it fine? Do we try again? We're on the opposite sides. Yeah, see, this is why you... Gets close there. But then it goes away. See, you can't... I mean... We're just gonna be late, man, and it's like... This is what makes me really want to use mech jeb. This kind of shit. I'm just like, calculate the best burn to get to Duna. You know? But effectively, we cannot do it without waiting like 3 years. Yeah, and we fucked this up. We're not going to be able to revert launch, are we? Am I going to have to crash this back into Kerbin? Just completely abort? Did we not quick save before we launched? Come on. Is this like... This is like the 5th time I've done this, right? Where I've quick saved right after launch... Look, I can't deal with it. I can't believe I fucked up. I can't believe I fucked up. This is our launch right here. Like, we need to take note of when we quick save the game. Okay. Okay. I don't know where we're at with this one. I don't think we have any. I think we're gonna have to deorbit manually. Duna small lander Mark 1. Is this the... Yeah, okay. So persistent saved our... Yeah. So we're okay. The only thing we need to do differently is we need to wait, like... a year to launch. Is this the one where we did this properly? Yeah, where these fire off when those break off? Yeah. No, this isn't correct. Yeah, we still have the Duna small lander in orbit. So, unless we want to redesign this whole thing, we're gonna have to... Man, I fucking hate how the quick save system works in this game. It should just always quick save right before you launch. And then why doesn't it let me... I'm gonna look it up. Kerbal Space Program cannot revert flight. So the reason I can't revert the flight is because I switched to the fucking other craft. So you can't revert after you switch to another craft. Okay, I just learned that. So we're screwed on the save. Okay. The reality is we need to wait until Duna. Until we catch up to Duna, effectively. And it takes a full year plus to do that. So maybe given where we're at, we do an Eve mission. I don't know. I honestly don't know. All I know is that we designed a ship that can absolutely get to Duna and land on Duna if we're in the proper position to do so. Otherwise, we have to... You know what? Let me just try this. I want to just try something. And then I think I'm going to end the stream. All right, where are we at? Okay. We have our periapsis here. What if we change our trajectory from here? That flings us out way more and gives us more of an opportunity, I think. Here we go. So we're gonna have to go out far. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we found something to work with. Hello? All right. That's a 1200 burn. I'm gonna make it there. I'm gonna make it there. $10 years? No. No, we can't actually do that. We can't actually do this. Hmm. We're still gonna need to do this burn, right? I have 6 minutes to figure this out. Oh, that we just passed. Wait, what? How did we pass it? No, I'm not putting the maneuver there. I'm putting it here. Oh, because yeah, we shifted it. All right, you know what? We're fine. Yeah, we're fine. Look, just speed it up. I want to exit. Um, See, if you're going this way, it's going to take 2 years for us to even be close, right? Yeah, 13 years. Yeah, no thanks. We need Duna to be right here. This is where we need Duna to be. Oh shit. In 10 years, we'll approach it right there. Yeah, I think I'm done messing with this. I'm getting pretty tired. Yeah, it's like no matter what I do, it's on the opposite side. Because we're going in the same rotation as it, and we're trying to speed up to get to it, you can't do that. You just can't do that, right? Like the way we launched basically means that we would have to flip our orbit around the sun, right? No, we can't. We just can't. We just can't. So the situation is we are heading in this direction, right? Up on the screen right now. We're heading in this direction. I'm just trying to clarify to myself why what I'm trying to do is not possible and why I'm wasting my time. And then I'm going to end the stream and take a break. We are heading up right now. We are going counterclockwise around the sun. And we're trying to get to this thing, right? This thing is right behind us. So we're going to need to get an apoapsis that's farther out than it so we slow down enough to capture it. What that takes is a lot of time, right? Say we want to do that. Say we're like, okay, we want to make an apoapsis out here so we can capture it before re-entering, right? Say we want to do that. Say we're going to try something like this, right? So the target position is going to be here. Our separation is going to be here, right? So we're going to go beyond it. So we want to keep going higher and higher to make it so we slow down. Right? Let's just try this. I'm going to make my apoapsis. I'm going to do a burn that puts us above it, right? And then I'm going to manipulate that burn to, I'm just going to see if we can try and do this. Before I just give up. I just want to see what happens. I just want to see what happens. Yeah, we're in perfect alignment with it. So we have to make this burn in 7 days. So let's speed it up. You know what? Let's just start burning now. It doesn't matter, right? It's gonna become our periapsis anyway. So we're gonna burn 1,000 meters per second. Yeah, it's gonna take forever. I honestly should just put like a Reliant engine on this, but because these are so good in a vacuum, I can't imagine using nuclear engines with this thing. I mean, well, what you would do is you would put like five of them. But that's kind of what takes the longest in this game is burning, because this is why. This is why. Cannot warp faster than 1x while the ship is under acceleration. Now, supposedly they're fixing that in Kerbal 2. And if they successfully fix it and it doesn't like break everything when you try to accelerate while if you try and speed up time while accelerating, I will get the game immediately, because this is the one part of the game that kind of just like, go make a cup of coffee, come back, and you're still like only halfway done with the 10-minute burn. But realistically, this should not be taking this much time. Like, we need Duna to be right here in this area, somewhere right here, because catching up to it is way easier than slowing down to it. Targeted closest approach on the other side of the sun. So what we're doing is we're burning beyond that. So we can slow down over here. I want to just see what happens if I try and do this. Burn time 10 minutes. But hey, we can do it. Look, we did it. We just slingshot around the sun very close. And then we can do it. Yeah. That's seeming like the only way to do it. Yeah, and if we burn prograde, we're just gonna end up on the other side. They're like these windows that form. Yeah. It's interesting how that happens. Just like messing around with orbits now, just trying to see what it changes. But, you know, clearly, again, it's like, because we're rotating in the same direction as Duna, we effectively need to catch up to Duna. And doing that on a solar level is going to take us years to do. So we need Duna to be somewhere here, because otherwise we have to do at least one orbit around the sun, and that takes a very long time. So yeah, at this point, I'm just gonna leave it here. I have learned that I should quick save right before I launch every time, and I've learned that we need to wait for Duna to be in front of us before we had just gotten our so we'll just deorbit this thing. It sucks. There's no other way. Otherwise it's like redesign the thing you just made. I don't know if we can like save the file and then import it. Can you do that? Well, it'll be interesting to see this thing deorbit. That'll be fun. Right. Cut the engines, detach, detach, detach. Oh, I wanted to see, oh shit. We have the crew in the, oh wait, no, we don't. We don't have the crew in this thing. So this thing is just gonna burn up. Well, rip. Alright, let's switch to the Duna lander. Yeah, that thing is gonna... Yeah, that thing's already falling rapidly. Yeah, so we're gonna deorbit burn. This thing has parachutes, it has a heat shield. That thing should... Oh, there it is. That was the debris. Yeah, that thing should drop like a rock. We'll deorbit at a relatively slow velocity. And that thing is... We're gonna fly right by it, and it's gonna be below us. Yeah. That thing should already start burning up pretty soon. It will absolutely burn up. All right, once we're below... I mean, we can just keep burning on this thing. Just how long do we want to wait? That's kind of the question. I really don't want to wait much longer. All right, detach. Decouple. And let's speed up time. If that thing doesn't reorbit, something's wrong with the game. Because that thing, I made sure its periapsis was like 20 kilometers. They should be dropping rapidly at this point. There's something wrong with the game if that does not deorbit. Okay, it's blowing up. I'm like, there's something wrong with the game if that doesn't. Yeah, okay. It blew up. I think we lose about 200,000 from doing this, though. That's the biggest. That's why I'm not doing... Oh my god, did it really re-enter? No way. No, it didn't. No, no, no. All of it's gone. Yeah. Right before landing, we will... And recover vessel. Well, we know it can safely re-enter. That's a good test, right? It's a 200,000 Kerbucks test. All right, let's quick save. If we ever do a these quick saves are all in terrible places. I need to really learn how to quick save. Will we even be able to afford to launch this thing again? It's 184,000, 185,000. We know it can re-enter. This stage can re-enter, which is good to know. It's good to know. What issue did we run into? The first issue we ran into was this became space debris, right? The main issue we ran into was the fact that Duna was not in the correct position for us to rendezvous with it. Because the game kind of gives you windows, right? Both of these, Eve and Duna right now, are in terrible... Actually, no, Eve is actually in a good position because you would retrograde burn down to it, right? So you would go like this, retrograde down to it, and slow down to rendezvous with it. So this is actually a good position for Eve. But this is a terrible position for Duna. Because Duna, you have to burn up to, right? You speed up to burn to it. Duna, you would come down to, yeah. Same with Moho. Moho is actually not in a bad spot either, because it would come towards you as you deorbited down towards it, right? But yeah, you want Duna to at least be in alignment or below. And unfortunately, that takes a long time. I think we're going to do an Eve mission. The great thing about Eve is if it's in that position, we have plenty of time to get back up to... yeah. We have this whole window, and then we can launch our ascent. But right now, what's going to happen is over the next 3 years in game, Kerbin is going to slowly catch up to Duna, right? We missed the window for us to reach Duna, and it's going to take probably 2 to 3 years in game, right, for us to catch up. You know, even right now might be a decent time to... Yeah, they're 416 days in a Kerbal year. That's how long it takes Kerbin. That's how long it takes Kerbin to rotate around the sun. Now, right now wouldn't be a bad time either, because we would burn up to intercept Duna, right? But really, you want it to be... You want Duna to be somewhere right here. And that's going to take another year. But where Eve is in game, we can work with that. We could go to Eve. I think we're going to go to Eve. I look forward to that. I don't know. Would this be able to land on Eve? I might try it. Also, our orbits are closest right around here with Eve. So we're getting to that point now we're going on to year 4. And right about here is where you want Duna to be, right? Because you burn prograde, and as you burn prograde, your apoapsis comes out here to meet up with Duna in like 200 days. So that's something I'm taking note of. I learned a lot with this recent launch. It was cool to get some of our debris to intentionally crash into the moon. I mean, basically what we did was we put it in position in front of the moon, so once it entered the moon's sphere of influence, it was in front of where the moon was orbiting. And unfortunately, that one piece did somehow get away from the moon. But yeah, I'm going to leave it here. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be on either later today or tomorrow with more Kerbal Space Program or Oxygen Not Included, or maybe another game like Noida. We'll see how I feel. But yeah, GG's for now.